Howdy and welcome back. In today's episode, we're going to be giving new life to a massive Swedish anvil. But let's give a quick thanks to today's sponsor, which is Bespoke Post. We'll talk more about them in just a little bit. I got this anvil from Steve Schwarzer. It came from a blacksmith shop near him a long time ago.
For a little bit of reference, let me go grab a 100-pound anvil. All right. 100-pound Trenton, 393-pound Coleslaw. There's like as much mass in the horn of this anvil as there is in this whole anvil. That's ridiculous.
The first step is going to be cleaning off the whole anvil with a cupped wire brush on an angle grinder.
That doesn't feel good. Oh. What the heck? Well, I don't know what I did, but I hurt my back pretty good, which gives us an excellent opportunity to talk about today's sponsor, which is Bespoke Post.
Bespoke Post is a monthly subscription service to connect you with some cool small businesses. Now, Bespoke Post is free to join, and it is a wonderful value for your money because each box includes about $70 worth of gear, but it only costs $45. Now, when you sign up for free, you'll take a quiz, and based off of that quiz, they'll make recommendations for what they think you'll like every month. But you don't have to take that recommendation. Either choose a different box from their month-to-month rotation, or skip the month entirely free of charge.
Now, the two packages that I want to talk about are the Weekender package and the Retreat package. The Weekender package includes that green canvas and leather bag that you just saw me using. That thing is just an awesome, straightforward, very cool, kind of classy, rustic, good quality style bag. It's the sort of thing that I really like. I really love the green canvas and leather combo. That's like my favorite combo. I think it looks awesome. The Retreat package is what I'm chilling in right here. It is this fold-away hammock. This thing, I love these things. I've spent a lot of time sleeping in hammocks, and this thing is just killer. It packs away super small. The ropes and the attachment system that it comes with are easy to use so long as you know how to tie knots, which if you're an adult, you should know how to tie knots. That's just like basic. And then the other thing that it comes with, which I think is just awesome, is this Wren on-the-go blanket. And this thing is just sweet. It's got a cool, kind of modern geometric pattern on one side, and then it's got a waterproof, dustproof cover on the other side. So it's great for chilling in your hammock. Along with the Weekender and Retreat packages, I also received their Terra kit, which has a cool bird call, an awesome bar of soap, and a cool Hori Hori gardening knife. So after you've taken your questionnaire, go ahead and enter code STELTER20, not Stetler, it's S-T-E-L-T-E-R 20 for 20% off your first box. Thank you guys for following along. Let's jump back in to some anvil restoration. Well, now that I've got the thing wire brushed off, we're going to go ahead and hit it with a nice coat of boiled linseed oil. This is the just what I put on basically every piece of raw cast iron or raw steel that I have in the place. It just keeps it from rusting or crusting or anything like that that ends with an usting. We don't want that to happen. We want it to stay nice. Go ahead and coat this thing up.
With the anvil cleaned and coated, it's time to move on to the wooden stand. My plan is to cut up a couple 8x8 wooden timbers for it and then do some cool steel banding around the top and bottom.
We're a little on the big side for this saw. I was hoping we were able to cut it in like 3 different cuts, but the actual blade itself doesn't get high enough to cut this. So I'm gonna cut it by hand with a skill saw and then finish it off with a hand saw.
All right, I'm gonna take a quick break to go on a little road trip to fix the Anvil. The next step in bringing this Anvil back to life and getting it back to work is gonna be surfacing this thing off. And there's only one place to do that, and that's here with Jason. Jason, how you doing?
Good to see you, Will.
Good to see you too. First off, as you guys saw, there's a couple decent sized little torch cut marks in the face of this Anvil, which is not ideal when you're trying to do clean forgings. And so ideally we'll be able to get this thing surfaced off and nice and clean, and that's going to be really hard to do on a small milling machine or a surface grinder. Most surface grinders won't have the
capacity.
Exactly. They won't be able to go up 14 inches underneath the wheel. And so Jason has the right machine for it.
But you had this quoted out in Montana.
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit about that.
Well, the job shop that offered to do it said that it was going to take about a month, and it was going to be between $400 and $1,000, which is a lot. But to be fair, the machine that it takes to be able to do this on is a big, expensive machine.
It's specialized, yeah.
Absolutely.
You could probably do this on a Bridgeport, but most Bridgeports don't have 24-inch clear travel. They have 24 inches of working space.
Yeah.
But by the time you put a cutter on it that's 3 inches in diameter or 2 inches diameter, you'd over travel. So you realistically need something with 30 to 32 inches of travel on a small mill to be able to do this.
Dang.
And that's a little tricky. We could do this on the shaper, which the shaper would probably be okay to do this on too. But we'd be able to make one big pass on the Cincinnati. Those are some things that we can address when we get inside which tool we want to use.
Awesome. Well, let's go for it.
I want to hear Will's anvil ring, and I also, because I'm Mr. Shop Scientist, that I want to see how far the ball bearing rebounds. And explain to me, Will, what am I looking for?
So rebound is how far back up a hardened steel anvil will send a ball bearing, and that comes from the hardness of it and the amount of mass that's underneath it.
What I'm also curious about is this surface work hardened, and when we go to deck it off, are we going to be losing rebound or maybe make an improvement? So this is kind of a good bench test to see where we're at.
I'm excited. Let's give it a shot.
Let's see where we're at. 19 and a half, 20. Oh, that one went a little higher.
I think we'll have a little bit more consistent result when we face it off.
Oh my gosh, that's loud.
Well, this is the mill that we came to play with. Jason, can you tell me a little bit about this thing?
This is a 1957 Cincinnati number 5 milling machine. It weighs 18,500 pounds. It has a cutting capacity or envelope of 5 feet.
Oh my goodness.
It has 2 foot in the Y and about 20 inches in the Z. It has 50 horsepower. And it is an absolute beast.
Oh my goodness. This is one of the coolest machines I've ever seen in my whole life. Are there very many of these things around?
This is the first one I've seen, but yeah, they made quite a few of them. I know that the 5s and the 6s are pretty kind of rare. And the 6 is exactly the same size as this, but a 1 foot longer table.
Interesting.
Yep. And this is exactly what this machine was designed to do, is face anvils. Like this is what it was made for, so I'm excited to try it.
Me too. So what are we going to be using to cut the face of the anvil then?
We have a couple choices of cutters, and I can show you those. The cutter I'd like to use is something with a carbide tooth, because the surface of that's probably going to be pretty hard. And my go-to is this one, and I just had a video where I did some testing with it, taking big cuts, so I know it's going to slice right through there. But I'm also looking at something wide enough to cut that in one pass. And so this is an 8-inch diameter, and we'll be able to go one time over it and get that really nice swirl pattern without having the steps in it. So
Where's the baby up? Put it in, make sure that the key is engaged with the, there you go. Somewhere in there. That ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, this is gonna be great to forge on. Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
It's pretty dang good.
Dang. Thank you.
Right on, man. Looks great.
This is gonna be killer.
What?
Well, we ended with an absolutely beautiful surface finish and a fun little experiment in kinetic energy afterwards, which was awesome and unexpected.
I did not expect that ball bearing to bounce like that. Sweet piece of iron, my man.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. I look forward to seeing what you build with it.
Thank you very much, and thank you so much for your help. This looks amazing, and I'm looking forward to using it.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys back in Bozeman. Well, I'm back in Bozeman, and I'm in a little bit of a predicament here. Loading up the Anvil into my truck wasn't a big deal. I just threw a strap around it, hooked it up to the gantry crane, backed my truck underneath it, plopped that sucker down, but couldn't get the trailer all the way inside the shop. The Anvil is right here at the front of it, couldn't really scoot it to the back, and so here's the current plan. I'm going to drop the Anvil onto the these pallets here. I've got a little, I think, cottonwood pallet, a piece of plywood, and another larger pallet. And then I'm going to try to get my pallet jack underneath that and hopefully wheel it into the shop and get it back into a place where I can move it around easily with the gantry crane again. If it works, then it'll work, and if it doesn't, then it won't. Perfect!
With the Anvil surfaced off and back in the shop, it's time to get back to work on the stand. We're going to kick things off by chopping up the 3-inch by 1/4-inch flat bar that we're going to be using for the top of the banding for the timbers.
Alrighty, now that I've got the 3-inch by 1/4-inch banding going around the top, it's time to move down to the bottom. And the plan there is to take this 3 by 3 by 5/16 angle iron. What we're gonna do is flange around our base. You heard me right, we're gonna flange it. That means we're gonna take it like this. We're gonna do mitered cuts and miter all the way around, and we'll have this cool looking, we're gonna have a cool looking angle iron base to it. You know what? It's gonna look good, probably. Let's give it a shot. Oh gosh, just what I worried about. It's still really heavy. Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and drag this thing out near the door so that I can get that ground off. I don't really love grinding inside the shop, but I'll get those ground and blended so they don't look so ugly. But come on. Goodness gracious me. All right, our next step here is gonna be grinding off these ugly MIG welds here, blackening them up like we did on the top here, and then drilling and leg bolting in both our top and our bottom strapping. I'm gonna go ahead and dress my edges with the flap disc. I'm gonna take off, I think, these areas that are already chipped out and or cracked a little bit. Those can be a huge issue and can be really dangerous, so I wanna make sure that those aren't there. And then I'm just gonna clean up the other side a little bit and maybe try to get into the hardy hole here a little bit too. Let's get to it. As you guys saw, I routed out the same pattern as the base, so that anvil is going to sit a little bit lower, because next step is going to be taking this heavy duty construction adhesive and filling up that little gap, not the whole thing, but enough that when this stuff cures, it's going to deaden the ring of that anvil. This should do a pretty good job. It's what Jason has his anvil anchored down with. My original thought was to do it with lead, but there's too many cracks in there, and I think that lead would just run straight through. So heavy duty construction adhesive it is for now. Hopefully that'll work out well. Let's give it a shot. All right, I got my 6-pound Ethan Hardy crosspeen, and I'm ready to take my first ever hits on the 395-pound Coleslaw. This face hasn't seen hot steel in a really, really, really long time. So I'm looking forward to it. Here we go. Oh yeah. It's almost like it was made for this.
Well, with my first hits in on the new 395-pound coleslaw anvil, I gotta say this thing is a pleasure to forge on. It is, as the Italians would say. I have a couple quick announcements before we end it. First off, thanks again a ton to Bespoke Post for sponsoring today's episode and making this possible. I couldn't dump the amount of time and energy that I got to into building this beautiful stand unless we take on cool sponsors like Bespoke Post, so thank you guys. Announcement number 2. New merch design available. It is the Scrollwork Anvil t-shirt. This thing is going to be available for 1 week and 1 week only. It's going to be up on the site as soon as this thing goes live. Make sure to go check that out. That design was done by my friend Evan Watson, same guy who designed the Scrollwork Chef's Knife t-shirt. Kudos to you if you picked up one of those. Patreon is still a wonderful way to support the channel. You can get your name in the credits here at the end of the video, so make sure to go check that out. Link in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for following along, and I will catch you on the flippity flip.